Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda.
Twajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka, Kenya nchi yenye baraka.
My name is Dr. Joseph Nyandipe-Nyancham. I'm a motivational speaker. My mission is to transform the latent energy of the Kenyan people and others in the rest of the world into active energy to enable them live a fulfilled life. And my vision is to transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. I think, as we have discussed about this culture episodes, I've told you the vision. If actually we don't focus on it religiously, there are certain aspects that will lead into a devastation of the environment, and in the end has a direct correlation with the food security. So if we don't conserve environment, and in this place it used to rain almost throughout the day, but these days you see even rivers, there are cases there you find very minimal amount of water. So we need to conserve the environment to guarantee continuous survival of our people. That's what can guarantee. And this is why you can see there are a lot of traditional and indigenous trees. We are now uprooting here, we have uprooted all the exotic trees like blue gums because they tend to take a lot of water. That's why you can see a lot of indigenous trees now coming up. Even the other side where the home is, you can see there are indigenous trees even in the farms. And we want this to trigger, this thinking to trigger the entire community, at least each person even to plant 50% of his land for indigenous trees to conserve. Number two, environment itself is a resource, it's an economic activity, which if we develop the environment, all the houses you see here, people build houses here, they live in Nairobi. I have a vision that we can encourage them to convert those houses because of this wonderful environment into what we call eco-lodges. Eco-lodges are places where tourists come and live, but they will only sleep in those places if actually they have met the conditions of environment. Because environment has been discovered to stir the meditative spirit, and when the meditative spirit is spurred, the creativity increases, and this is what countries like Japan are doing. But here people are grabbing land and converting into a jungle instead of, thinking that they confuse development with putting up high-rise building. No, you can become billionaire even through environment itself. If we conserve environment, we can even build a million jobs, because tourism is a key employer, I must say, for most of the youth, and agribusiness. You see here people have small businesses, and as I've told you that you saw some coffee farms there. Can you imagine a situation where the machinery is brought to the coffee farms, tourists from Europe, America, Austria, from Arab world, they just come to the source, how actually coffee is extracted. They will be very excited. They will live here forever and live their millions of dollars here. And by that, it will trigger the employment of our youth. By the way, you look at this place, where we are now. Look at even that side. I can count for you 11 hills. Where on earth can you go? When you are on one hill, you count 11 hills. Something very interesting. If you go to each of those hills, again you will count 11 hills when you are there. This one becomes one of it. What is creation is amazing. I don't comprehend. And look at this. The people have never seen this. Because all what you don't know, you assume doesn't exist. But the moment they realize that such facility or landscape exists, it will really enable people to meditate deeply and live to their greatness. You know, if you want to live to your greatness, you go to solitude, a higher place, like that hill called Kemunchugu, that one. You know, if you look at by government regulations, hills were reserved. There is a place beyond which you can know, hills belonged to the state. Do you know that? Like the rivers or the natural forest. But because of impunity, you find that people actually want to own the hills. And as you see, I was looking at how I can collaborate with the government to give me those hills when I was inquiring. I was shocked that the people were saying, government owning which hills? I think we need to put also government in order to know that hills are supposed to be conserved because it is a national heritage. And if you look at here, I hope I told you that this place is called Saiganene Heritage Park and the Innovation Eco Center. Why heritage? Because me, I'm at the hill. This is a heritage, you see? And you can see, I never build at the hill point, at the tip point, because I understand that this is a government heritage. I've built in the middle here, but still you can see, even if you are here, other places. Remember, do you know other countries which are plain create artificial hills so that they enjoy the feeling? Do you know what we have in Kenya, and particularly in Nyamira here, Bonyakoni? This is $1 billion kind of economy if well harnessed. Especially you get visionary people. And I hope that many community members will see my point and we get support from each one of them. And they are very cooperative. By the way, we are building this facility during when COVID was at maximum, and all the students who were to be idle, they were fetching water from the river using the containers. Not that I didn't have capacity to pump the water. It was deliberate to create employment for them. And if you ask any one of community member, will give a testimony that were it not for this facility, they don't know what their children could have done at that period. You have heard birds chirping and chirping, singing their songs, and you know the chirping, they are very happy because of the environment itself. The reason why you can see a lot of birds is that they also have what we call the divine right, the divine right. You know, most people think that the fact that birds like this one use instinct. Remember what God created us to do. He only told us to guard, protect, and dominate only. He never told us to destroy. That is why I have spared all these birds. I've created an environment. As a Christian, they have a divine right to live in a habitat they were supposed to do. That's why we have reconstructed an atmosphere, an habitat they can also live. Because people have destroyed habitats of most animals, birds, and here now soon, you know, there are thousands here. Like that one you saw is Amachore, you saw Amakorobo, you saw ABCB. Those are in our traditional language. Soon we are collaborating with one of the university. They are coming to name all the species here. And as guests come here, they will be, if they want to trace a certain species, the bird watchers, they will just use the binoculars and trace it, because they learn also to the other hills. It's an adventure. for bird watching. That's why you see several of them here. This heritage in the next 10 years, it is going to bring all people together to share their traditional values within the region. And by so doing, they will discuss other matters of peace and prosperity. Because I'm seeing it in 10 years, or other tribes like Lowland, Kulia, coming here to test the cuisine of this region, the traditional cuisine here, like Yamasosa, Chinderema, Chinsobosobo, here we have such a kind of exchanges. This place, I think, not even, we can't reach even 10 years. I'm seeing all people in the Western Kenya, Nyanza, up to Kulia land, up to Mwanza, by the way. Because here we want also to bring also all other choirs can assemble here. You see, it's a beautiful place where people can even shoot music, Christian music, all kind of music, traditional. Here we don't choose. This is a place where it stirs the meditative spirit of any person, either the youth or the leader or any other person. This is the place to be.
Line ho, uyu line lelo mwana mene, mwana wanzeru. Line ho, uyu line lelo mwana mene, mwana wanzeru. Ukacha mama wa amatengazaje, kusesa bakomo, pamaibaje.